If you've been using Ubuntu for a while, you may have noticed something interesting, and that is warty-final-ubuntu. So now, for those of you not in the know, you may be wondering what the big deal is with warty-final-ubuntu. If you go into Files, then click on Other Locations, then click on Computer, and then go to USR Share Backgrounds, you will get to the system folder where Ubuntu stores its stock wallpapers. Now you'll notice that the default wallpaper is named warty-final-ubuntu. Now in order to understand why this is, we first need to understand Ubuntu code names. So when a new Ubuntu release comes out, its version number is picked based on the year and month that it came out. So for example, Ubuntu 20.04 represents that the release came out in April of 2020. Every Ubuntu release is also given a code name, which is always 2 words, and they basically pick the name of a mammal and then put an adjective before that name. And they always use alliteration. Now the first letter of both words in the codename is always the next letter in the alphabet to what the first letter in both words of the codename of the previous release was. So that way you can easily tell by the codename which order these releases came out. So now that tradition that I just mentioned of going through the alphabet in order started with 5.10 and reset with 17.10 because at that release they hit the end of the alphabet, so they had to go back to the beginning. For example, the codename of Ubuntu 20.04 LTS, which is the latest LTS release at the time of shooting this video, is Focal Foza. And Ubuntu 20.10's codename, which is the latest release at the time of shooting this video, is Groovy Gorilla. So now, based on what I just said there, you would think that the file name for Ubuntu's default wallpaper would be based on the release's codename. For example, Focal-final-ubuntu or Groovy-final-ubuntu. But the file name in every Ubuntu release is warty-final-ubuntu. And you might be thinking, what's going on there? Now, this file name was picked as the name for the default wallpaper of Ubuntu 4.10, which was the first Ubuntu release. Now its codename was Warty Warthog. Again, this is before the tradition of going through the alphabet in order started. So its default wallpaper's file name was warty-final-ubuntu. Now that still doesn't explain why the default wallpaper's file name for every release is warty-final-ubuntu. So now, in case you're unaware, Ubuntu has a feature that allows you to upgrade from one version to the next without doing a reinstallation, and that'll keep your data and all your compatible applications intact. So now every time Canonical releases a new release, they release a new default wallpaper. But if someone was using the default wallpaper of an older release and wanted to upgrade to a newer one, they wanted them to have the new default wallpaper. However, for people that used their own custom wallpaper, they didn't just want to change their wallpaper to the default wallpaper of Ubuntu, because then that would be kind of annoying for the user to have to change it back. Now, I'm not sure if they could have put in a condition in their upgrade scripts that says if the wallpaper in use is USR Share Backgrounds warty-final-ubuntu, change the wallpaper to USR Share Backgrounds Focal-final-ubuntu, or whatever final-ubuntu, if you know what I mean. Now, I'm not sure exactly how their upgrade script works, if they could even do that, but the point is, the easiest thing to do was just to leave the file name alone, because most people would not even notice, let alone care. So if you're wondering why the file name of Ubuntu's default wallpaper is always warty-final-ubuntu, no matter what release you're on, that's why. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, found it cleared up confusion, hit the like button, share this video with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment.